State of the Union is strong.
The State of the Union is pretty strong. I think it could be made stronger. And I would start with, again, I'm reflecting my students who talk a lot about social media, but I would start with the information that we're getting. It's simply a wild west out there. And there are too many people who believe what they're reading on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. They're not checking their sources. And that's not healthy. We need to have an informed public and people who really know what facts are, what is true and what's disputable. Because if we don't share common facts about what democracy is and what's happening around us, then that makes the State of the Union a lot weaker.
Right. Finally, I guess I want to just end on this positive note on the things that we can do to strengthen just in our own orbit, our own unions that we have with people, our own connections. I'm blanking on the name of the actor, but he played Captain America. Chris Evans. Is it Chris Evans?
Mm-hmm.
He started and I referenced this in another show with Yuval Levin episode. He started a website where he gives a platform to politicians who basically it's a no spin zone. It's like a real no spin zone. He really gives them, he incentivizes and curates only politicians making statements about an issue or about what they stand for. And he just doesn't allow any sort of rhetoric. He's just talk about the facts. You can have a discussion and without trying to take something back from the other person. There's a concept that we use in marriage and family counseling called standing up for yourself without putting the other down. And it's such a rich concept because, we didn't talk much about this because it takes a lot of work to stand up for yourself. It takes a lot of work to listen to somebody else. And those two things can be done at the same time, but typically we conflate it. We think I have to stand up by pushing myself up off of you, for example, or I'm only going to listen to you after you've listened to me. So I focus more on getting you to listen to me than on giving you the opportunity to be heard. And I guess what I want to say to people and ask your reflection on this, what you might say to people as well, is that that it really is rewarding when we do stand up on our own, when we decide to do something good for others and not take something away, and really genuinely not giving something so that we get something, but just genuinely kind of being open to others. What would you say to people? How can we stay hopeful in this age of conspiracies and cancel culture?
Well, the good news is that we are still a free society and we have freedom of expression. We also have lots of places to get news and information. There's a lot of good, trustworthy sources on the left, right, middle, wherever, where you can learn about what's going on around you and get some thoughtful analysis. So that's good. It's not gone. It's just harder to find and gets less attention. The thing that Chris Evans is doing, which I heard about as well, I think is fantastic. And the problem is it's not really politically rewarded, but there need to be more people doing that kind of thing. In 1993 and 1994, Democrats and Republicans tried an experiment of Oxford-style debates, where instead of going to the floor and telling the camera why they were right and everyone else was wrong, you had two people from each party, and they debated something, and they actually would debate it. And so you could watch it and say, oh, okay, so I see why you think this. And so I guess it's about how important taxes are to you, or how important, access to healthcare is to you. It wasn't so much about persuading that you're wrong, so much as learning why the other side thinks the way they do. And that's just so important. And it's something I think is important. And I try to convey in the classroom, bringing in guest speakers, talking about both sides of issues, so people really use their heads, right? And they think critically. Yep. Those kinds of exercises I think are really valuable. And so I think that's what people who are elites, either Hollywood actors or people in office, should be doing. I think those of us who are just ordinary citizens should be getting more information from good sources, and seek out people you disagree with and have a real conversation with them. Do not engage on social media. Do not do tweets saying how you're right and everyone else is wrong, or this is stupid or dumb. That's not helpful. Find somebody you disagree with and say, okay, let's talk about abortion. Let's talk about healthcare. Let's talk about taxes. Right. Why do you think this way? Now you listen to why I think this way. Okay. Right. So we can agree to disagree. And I think you just learn more about people, but then you also, I think, develop a mindset that makes it easier to compromise and to think about politics as really an art where we're trying to just make society a better place as opposed to a battlefield where there's only winners and losers.